I can't believe it. She must think I'm the most stupid person alive.
Come on, Charlie Brown. I'll hold the ball and you kick it.
Hold it? Ha! You'll pull it away and I'll land flat on my back and kill myself.
But Charlie Brown, it's Thanksgiving.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, one of the greatest traditions we have is the Thanksgiving Day football game. And the biggest, most important tradition of all is the kicking off of the football.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Come on, Charlie Brown. It's a big honor for you.
Well, if it's that important, a person should never turn down a big honor. Maybe I should do it. Besides, she wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday. This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon!
Isn't it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?
Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net today and use code 20OFF to save 20% off of your entire order.
Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
Hey, jingity jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Santa's got a little friend, his name is Dominic, the cutest little donkey, you never see him kick. When Santa visits his paisans with Dominic, he'll be, because the reindeer cannot climb the hills of Italy. Hey, jingity jing, it's Dominic the
Nothing says happy holidays here at the Sunday Audible show quite like our theme song for the holidays, Dominic the Donkey. That's right. If you can have a theme song for Christmas at a sports radio or football theme show, it's Dominic the Donkey. No doubt about it. But guys, welcome to Sunday Audible, live from here this Saturday, December the 3rd. I can't believe it's this December. We're less than 20 days about 20 days for Christmas. And we are happy to have you guys with us to open up week 13. Week 13 is still 5 weeks of football to be played after this. Boy, it just seems late, but we're happy to have you with us, and we're going to kick off the show. We got a lot to do. We have a lot to get to, and we're going to get all of it right now. But again, thank you to our friends at hempwizard.net or Hemp Wizard Beer Care Company for their sponsorship of the show, and they're about to release their Sunday Audible scent. That's right, there is a Sunday Audible scent just in time for your holiday gift-giving needs. And also remember to go to SundayAudible.com to find a link to Fanatics, the NFL websites, for your purchase of your holiday gift-giving needs of NFL apparel. So please, guys, support local business, support this show, and let's kick it off. I'm going to bring on my two co-hosts. He is the co-host of the Hard Rock and Sports Show. He is the bass player for the Ramorons, and my good buddy of 40 years. Please don't mind the hat he wears or the fact that he roots for a green team in New York. He's still a good guy, Mr. Jeff Sauce Towinski.
Look what I got, man.
What do you got?
I got somebody with me on my side.
Oh, Chuck Brown. Chuck Brown carrying the tree this year. It's a bigger tree than
you know what it is he's carrying it?
I can only see it's a tree.
It's a Christmas tree.
He's a Christmas tree. Well, of course. What else would he be carrying?
Green Christmas tree.
Jeff, I think most Christmas trees are green.
Oh, if you watch the show, you'll see that there's some pink aluminum ones. This one is green.
That's very true.
And green.
I see that. And we're going to get to a lot of green talk this morning. But for now, let's get on the second co-host of the show, our third member of the team, and the guy who is the most fashionably dressed every show. This week, I'm seeing some Cardinal colors. Maybe that's it'll be in memoriam of Cliff Kingsbury, who I will predict will be fired at the end of the season for being a terrible coach.
Listen, I'm going to, just real quick, I'm going to hit this free girls thing.
Uh-huh.
While you're talking to John, do you see that coming up there?
I do not see anything coming up on the screen.
You don't see anything on the chat?
On the chat, that's different. I'm sorry, I did not say. What the hell is that? Free virtual girls chat? Where the hell did you get this from?
I don't know. It was there.
Oh, it just popped up on the screen?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to block these.
Yeah, definitely.
Block user.
I don't know where my fucking glasses.
I just blocked it, so they whatever that was. But he is the big shot down at RFO Records for now, and he's our buddy and one of the most well dressed men on this show. He's of course John Marhefka. What's up, Johnny boy?
Morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you today, John?
What's up, there?
Good. I love the Dominic the Donkey, guys. I always think of Family Guy. If you ever saw that episode where
I did. I'm not a big
Peter requests it.
But I figure if there's ever going to be a theme song for the holidays for this show, it's got to be Dominic the Donkey. So
I wonder why.
There's always a lot of reasons, but one of my favorite Christmas tunes of all time. And guys, happy holidays! We're in the midst of the big season. Johnny, how's your Christmas shopping going?
It's going good so far, guys. I mean, I got a lot done, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be out there working the some of the stores today, maybe the outlet stores. I'm not sure, but I don't know, man. It's always a challenge when you're out there shopping. So
it is. I still like the brick and mortar feel. I do a lot of brick and mortar shopping. Yeah. Jeff, how about yourself? Do you do how's your Christmas shopping going? Do you do a lot of?
It hasn't even started yet, man. Hasn't even started yet. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe next weekend we start. This weekend's a little rough. But yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. Listen, I just as soon give money. It's just as easy.
Yeah, we've gotten to that point where we do our Christmas lifts right before Thanksgiving every year, it's quite big. We have a big family and some close friends that we buy for. But I noticed that this year's quite a bit of gift cards and cash. So there will be some gift giving. We have some things to buy, which I will do every year. But listen, it's the holiday season. I love doing it. I'm going to spend some time. I'm in the city every day, so I'm actually going to be taking my life into my own hands and stopping over at Macy's in the city. Or yes, I will. And I will be giving away free jet hats with a bowl of soup in the city. So if anybody out there, anybody knows a homeless guy who needs a jet hat, I'll probably have some for you.
Well, listen, hold on to them jet hats because you may need them as the Giants are on their decline.
Let's hold on. Let's not skip ahead in the show. I got a couple things. But speaking of holiday tours, one Odell Beckham Jr. has reappeared. Now he was thrown off a flight, so we don't know how that's going to affect his marketing here. But guys, it seems like it's a 3-stop tour. Giants were first. He's headed up to the Bills if he's not there already, and then it's to Dallas. If those are the three places, I would have to think that Dallas is the favorite. I think the Giants are sentimental, but I don't see that as a good fit. Jeff, Jeff, you go first. What's what of the three? Where do you think Odell stops? And is it long term or a short term deal?
I'm torn, to be honest with you, Tom, because I have a dog in this fight here, and it really doesn't matter to me personally where he goes, but then again, it does because he's on our fantasy team. So I want to see him go where the best quarterback is, and that's Josh Allen. If he goes to New York, he's going to get maybe 2 targets a month if he's lucky from Daniel Jones. He ain't going to get any touchdown passes, none of that stuff. If he goes to Dallas, Dak is always getting hurt. The best place for him is Buffalo. If he wants to produce.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But does it make sense, John, up there? I mean, they already got a ton of weapons. Does he put them over the top? That team has not been the juggernaut we all thought they would be.
It's a tough one, Tommy, but I think Dallas is the best fit. I think they're the ones that are pushing the hardest for him. But, if I was Odell, where do you want to go? I mean, if you have the best opportunity to win back-to-back Super Bowls, I'm going to say you got to go to Buffalo. But like you said, the fit is just isn't there. I mean, there's a ton of weapons right now.
Yeah.
How is this guy going to take him over the top? And is he even going to take him over the top in Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, guys have played. He's still, there's no guarantee that he's 100% healthy. I mean, a lot of guys take a year and change to get back from this, guys. So, if this is a short-term, rest of the year deal, I don't think he's that big. I don't think it's that big a deal for anybody. But I think if he were to sign a 2-year or 3-year deal, I think that's a bigger thing for somebody. Now he's the third, fourth receiver for this year. Maybe next year he's their second receiver. So I still don't see the Giants as a great fit for him. Could there, Jeff, be a little sentimental value to that to going back to finish what he started and kind of make amends?
Honestly, I don't understand. You can't go by him what he says and everything. He's out there.
Of course.
I wouldn't put too much onto what he says about going to the Giants and everything else. I just don't think it's a good idea. Why would you want to go to the Giants when Daniel Jones, I mean, steady, yeah, but outstanding, definitely not. And that's not what he wants. That's not what he needs. He wants attention. He needs the ball and everything else. He goes to Dallas, he's going to get it. He goes to Buffalo, he's going to get it. I disagree with you guys that you say he's not, that he couldn't be a bona fide weapon, so to speak. But I think that what he would do is he would take pressure off of everybody else on that team. He's going to put different kind of pressure on people, but he's going to take pressure off on the field because he has to be respected.
I don't disagree with that, Jeff, at all. I just and I think I disagree with the Giant thing. I think the problem for Daniel Jones is that he doesn't have anybody to throw to that is meaningful, and I think he would be even better with some better receivers. But that's for an argument for a different day, John. He
don't have any receivers right now. They're between them being injured and them sucking this year. But I just don't think that you need the added pressure of Odell Beckham over there in New York for the Giants.
Well, if he was healthy, Jeff and John, if he was healthy and could contribute, the Giants, we're going to go through the playoff pictures in a minute. Basically it's down to the last spot is down to or the last 2 spots are down to a 3-team race in the NFC. I'm not talking about the AFC yet, and your team, 2 quick losses in the next 2 weeks could flounder. But we'll get to the AFC East and NFC East in a minute, and the playoff picture. But John, to wrap this all up, what is Odell looking for? Is it just another Super Bowl? Is it a fit to end his career? If it's a fit to end his career, then it's a different story. But if this is about being the hired gun, then go to Buffalo.
I think if I'm him and I'm looking at what is the best for me, man, you want to win another Super Bowl. You didn't get to even have that full opportunity last year because you got injured. So you want to be able to sit there and hold that trophy and celebrate with the guys and be a part of that. And man, he was a big piece of that game early. I mean, he was unstoppable, and he gets injured, and then there it goes. But I think Super Bowl is what this guy wants. I think he's a head case too, just like Jeff said. But who better to handle a head case than Dallas?
Yeah, very,
I mean,
very,
really, just
very
I think
true.
it's a good fit.
Yeah, again, I think for the short term, he can go either one. I think they'll put the pressure on to go for him. I don't believe, guys, and this is a simple question, so we can move on. Is he a game changer? Does he make anybody he goes to a favorite or really change the game? I just don't see him being a game changer for anybody this year. And to tell you the truth, even next year, I don't think he's been the same player the last 3 or 4 years. And don't forget, it's only 2 years ago that he was pulling shenanigans in Cleveland, with his dad to get himself off that team. So this isn't some guy who's been on a 3-4 years has been a changed guy. This is a guy 2 years ago was putting out videos bad mouthing Baker Mayfield. So I think you got to be careful with him going long term. But guys, is he a game changer, John, for this year?
I think he is, and the reason I think that is for what Jeff said earlier. He takes pressure off of other guys. I mean, you put him up in Buffalo, that opens it up for Stephon Diggs and McKenzie and Gabe Davis. And I think with that many weapons, with him, with him opening up, who do you go to up there? That's one thing I see with that fit. But with Dallas, it's the same way. I mean, we start to see Lamb get a little more targets. I mean, he's obviously their top guy.
Sure.
But I think really the best fit is Dallas. And I think, he might be a little bit of a game changer, but, he's somebody that needs to be accounted for. And that to be accounted for and take pressure off of other guys, I think that's where his fit's at.
Jeff, is he a game changer?
I don't know. I mean, you got to see how his leg is. I think he's just going to get by on name alone. He's going to get picked up by somebody.
Oh, of course.
Of his past. Like I said earlier, I believe that he's going to take pressure off of somebody else. He has to be accounted for. He's not somebody that you could be like, all right, he ain't going to, go downfield on this play or whatever. He's going to be something. He's going to be a bit of a wild card. You don't know what he's going to do or when he's going to do it. So, yeah, I think that's a big piece because it opens up for 10 other guys. He's going to have to be accounted for. That's a big, big thing, especially if, every once in a while, once a quarter, all of a sudden he's blasting down the sidelines and he's open, especially if he has his wheels under him. So you got to see how that all works out for him.
Okay, fair enough, guys. All right, so guys, before the season started, I think we all had some ideas what the best divisions of football were going to be. And I think we all kind of agreed. Stop me if you didn't, but I think we all kind of agreed that we thought the NFC West, the AFC West was going to be probably the premier division. Obviously, that has not materialized. The Broncos are terrible. There's all sorts of negative talk about their quarterback, Russell Wilson, and his acquisition and contract. Obviously, the Chargers have not played well. Brandon Staley's got a little bit of a fire under his seat, Jeff. But guys, if you really look at it, I think the two best divisions in football, and I would go back and forth on which one is actually the better, probably the AFC East, but the Eastern divisions are easily, I think, the two best divisions in football. I mean, John, you're nodding your head. I mean,
yep.
It's a bit of a surprise, no?
It definitely is. I mean, when the season started, everybody had to talk about the AFC West, and and all those teams were playoff contenders too. And then you look at Denver with Russell Wilson, and you thought, boy, these guys are going to be competitive this year, and it really just hasn't happened. They look, every game lethargic. I mean, they don't even look like they want to play for this guy at quarterback. Nobody's getting open. Nobody's making plays. And the defense is taking a step back too with these guys because they're on the field all the time because the offense can't score points. But when you look at the West, Kansas City's obviously the favorite.
Yeah.
There, and that's a standout team. But like you said, Tommy, that both Eastern divisions, Buffalo, Miami, the Jets, all these guys are strong.
Yeah,
and they're strong in different areas too. I mean, the Jets defense, obviously, as we talk about that all the time in the chat, is those guys are a force to be reckoned with. They're young, they're You know, they're tough, they're aggressive. You know, if the offense gets it together, you know, that team's going to be a competitor, you know, for the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree with you more. And Jeff, you know, I think we thought that there may be some strong teams in the AFC East, but I think the surprise really is the NFC East. You know, the early start by the Giants just faded a little bit, but you know, still time left, and you know, I think this team's getting healthy. They'll bounce back a little bit, and then of course the resurgence by the Redskins lately. You know, I think the bigger surprise is the NFC East, but you know, both divisions could possibly have 4 teams in the playoffs, Jeff.
Yeah, it was a possibility, man. Did that ever happen before?
No, it can't because we've only had 2 wild cards. So,
okay.
Right. So up till now you have 3 wild cards starting last year. So this is really this is unprecedented because it's never been possible. But now there's a real strong possibility, especially in the NFC East, the AFC East. But looks like the Patriots might be fading a little bit here, Jeff. But
well,
yeah,
there's better teams in the AFC, so I could see the NFC East pulling this off and sending everybody to the playoffs simply because that the NFC East is not. I mean, look at what you got right there: 3 NFC East teams right there.
Yep.
In a row. You know, I just don't think the other teams in the NFC even want to go to the playoffs this year.
It's a strange thing, but you're looking at probably. I mean, Dallas. I can't see falling off that much to be in a question. So it comes down to Giants, Washington, and the Seahawks for the final 6 games. I mean, guys, it's very easy to say that the entire NFC East is going to get there. Now the Jets have a tough schedule coming up. They got Minnesota this week. They got the Bills the following week. You know, a split at a minimum is a must for the Jets. But you know, an 0-2 does, you know, going 0-2 against team does not preclude them. The Chargers are not good. The Patriots have been up and down all year, and then you get down to the Colts, and I don't see it. So that's become, you know, and let's call it a 9-team race for 7 spots, John.
Yeah, you brought up I'll take the NFC East first, though, Tommy, and that you know, if you look at that list right now, I think you have to look at, you know, number one, it seems like this year, who's running the ball the best, who's playing the best defense. But, you know, I look at the Commanders in this list, and, you know, it blows my mind. Like, Tyler Heineke has been playing so well.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this since the beginning of the season. I thought the guy, you know, was a better option over Carson Wentz.
Sure.
You know, the team plays for him. The guy, you know, he just goes out there and plays. It's kind of like a street football game. The guy never gives up. His guys play for him. You know, I can't see those guys going far if they make the playoffs. But if you look at the list right there, he's playing the best out of the quarterbacks, I think, right now. I could see all 3 making the playoffs, though, just because you look down, you know, is Seattle going to do it? You know, we saw a nice early start with them, you know, and now they're just starting to fade a little bit. Atlanta's kind of like that team that, you know, Marcus Mariota, I mean, started out okay, and now it's just kind of like, you know, bouncing around a little bit. It's not a consistent team.
No.
And the Lions right here, if you're looking at this list, Tommy, Lions are probably the best team on that list, the way that they've been playing. I'm shocked, but, you know, we saw that coming, and we thought that they were going to be a better improved team this year, and they dropped, and now here we are again on the list.
Absolutely. And Jeff, you know, I don't buy into the Falcons because even the Buccaneers are 5. You know, the Buccaneers are 2 games behind the Giants and the Redskins. So I'm not buying anybody out of that division other than whoever wins it, and whoever wins it could be well under 500 this year.
Yeah, I mean, look right now. The Buccaneers are already a game under 500 and have first place over there. That's a weak division. That's a really weak division.
Yeah.
You know, the Redskins. I wouldn't put much in the Redskins either. I just not feeling them as a total contender. But out of the rest of the teams that are on the bubble, the only one that I could see that slips in is Seattle. So I think that 7th spot goes to either Washington or Seattle. Once you get past Seattle, I don't see anybody. I don't see the Lions or the Falcons or anybody else on this list making a charge for that 7th position. So to me, it's a 2-team race between the Redskins and the Seahawks.
Okay. I mean, yeah, guys. I mean, listen.
Agree.
The next couple of games, the Giants have the Skins, the Eagles, and the Skins. So the Giants have to come out of that at a minimum 1-2. 2-1 is preferable. If they can get 2 wins, whether it's they beat the Redskins twice, if they if they can grab a game against the Eagles, nobody's dominant this year, and the Giants are getting healthy. If they go 0-3 in these games, they still could get there because, like Jeff said, Seattle and Atlanta both suck. So it's still possible. The final 3 games, the Giants pull out a couple of wins against the Colts, against the Vikings, and then a final game against the Eagles that might not matter to the Eagles. So it's not impossible. I think on the other side, Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about your Jets real quick. There's a team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs. The question is going to be, can they get there? And if they get there, do they have enough at quarterback with Mike White? And I certainly don't think at this point you can go back to Zach Wilson, but do they have enough at quarterback, Jeff, to make enough of a charge to even win a game in the playoffs?
I don't know, dude. Is it – first of all, we that would bring us to Mike White, which I have a hard time believing in after one game and everybody anointing him the second coming.
Right.
I just don't think that he's going to be what everybody thinks he was. If he was, he wouldn't be on the Jets this year. They would have come knocking last year and made trade offers for him, and he would have been taken away from the Jets, via trade. Somebody would have been looking for a quarterback like they do every year. But as far as the Jets go, I think the league is going to get smart to Mike White quickly, and even if they make it into the playoffs, they're going to have to win a bunch of defensive battles, not offensive ones, because their offense, I don't see it being staying strong. I don't think they have the staying power.
I agree. And I think, John, the big problem I have for the Jets is not even necessarily quarterback. I think their offensive line is still suspect. They've reached out to Zadavian Knight for a running back. Michael Carter's hurdle is gimped up. Breece Hall's out for the season. They've been extremely unpredictable with their wide receivers. I'm not a big believer in Mike White, but things happen. Sometimes guys get overlooked. In a league with where you're looking for big names, John. But there's no doubt that if the Jets were to get to the playoffs with that defense, they are good. They could make some noise.
Yeah, you think if the offense could just do the minimum, and Mike White could be a game manager, and they're able to at least get some points on the board, and the defense offsets what some of these other teams could do. I mean, because they're that strong, they're that young, and if they stay healthy, if they get to the playoffs, even if we were discussing this in the chat, if they get to the playoffs, say they make a wild card, and Mike White gets them there, even if they lose, I mean, that's a huge step for that team. Playoff experience, going into the next couple seasons, and like I said, I could see these guys being strong for 5-10 years now, with the weapons they have, as long as they get a strong guy at quarterback that can get the job done.
Well, I think we're going to learn a lot about the Jets the next 2 weeks. In Minnesota, it gets a very tough offense, but not a great defense. So if you go up there and you get stymied defensively by a very suspect secondary, I think that'll tell you a lot about the Jets. And again, you got to go to Buffalo the week after. So if the Jets were to lose the next couple of games, I don't know where the season goes. I still think they have a chance for the playoffs with the way the Patriots are playing, and certainly the way the Chargers are playing. And like I said, for the Giants, it comes out to these 3 games for me. You got to come out of there with at least 1. 2 wins get you to the playoffs. If your Giants win 2 of these next 3 games, I don't care what happens the last 3 weeks, they're in the playoffs. So very big deal. But you know what, guys? Just to be in New York at this point in the year in December, and we're playing meaningful games, I think is huge. I mean, Jeff, I don't know about you, but it's been a long time since December's rolled around, and not only one, but both teams, have a chance to do something special.
Yeah, I agree, without a doubt. It's a long time coming, and a team like in a city like New York shouldn't have had to wait this long.
Yeah,
for these teams to blossom. And listen, they've been relatively healthy. I mean, the Jets had some injuries in the beginning of the season with the offensive line, but that seems to have leveled out a little bit. And them benching Zach Wilson,
Mhm.
By the end of the season, we'll know, was it the right thing to do or not. Personally, I think it was,
Oh, absolutely.
but I just don't think that Mike White is the answer.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
we're going to know shortly. I mean, listen, if he comes out and has a couple of good games, he'll have to be a superstar, Jeff.
well, listen, all he needs to do is play tight football.
Yeah.
He could become a superstar later on. Just the task at hand, one team at a time. And same thing with the Giants. They got it one game at a time. They can't get over excited and start looking ahead at what they're up against, because if not, they're going to end up losing it.
Yeah.
They got to be smart. They got to play hard. They got to play for 60 minutes, and they got to play for 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every second of every game is important. It's going to define who they are. A lot of people are watching these teams.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, a lot of free agents
do and how it's working out for them, because a New York team in any market on any sport is a big thing, and
Sure.
people are going to use them as a measuring stick.
Listen, it's nice just to see both teams playing well at the same exact time, and given the hope that someday we see us. I don't know if the rest of the country would like it, but I think it would be a lot of fun, especially for our shows, to have Jets and the Giants deep in the playoff run with a possibility of a Jet Giant Super Bowl. I think that would be the ultimate fun for us here in New York. I don't know about outside of New York, but here
it wouldn't be fun for you. Jets 42, Giants 7.
I don't even know if the Jets would know how to get to the Super Bowl. It's been so long since they've been there.
Mike White would be 32 or 34 for like 600 yards.
What, in the flag football game before the Super Bowl?
Do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, in the flag football game on the beach at the Super Bowl.
I've got into an argument on a thread for this T-shirt that says Mike effing White. And I've been battling. I feel like a lion being attacked by a bunch of hyenas, because I said that this guy it's just a matter of time before he implodes.
Listen, you know what? It happened last year. In fact, the game he got beat up on, he was begging to get pulled out of it. So listen, I'm with you, Jeff. I was impressed with what I saw last week. So it's one game.
Sorry, I got to go into the next room real quick.
Do you think
something has arisen?
Sunday Audible.
I'll be right back.
Sunday Audible here on a Saturday morning. Jeff Towinski, John Mayevka, Tom Floria. We're bringing you the best and most unique NFL analysis around this. So make sure you come back each and every week when we do the show. And again, happy holidays from all of us here at the Sunday Audible. John, Deshaun Watson rearing his pervy little head back. Busby, the lawyer, bringing. Here's the part I don't understand. If he settled all these lawsuits, why are they bringing 10 women who had lawsuits against him to the game? Like, what's the end result of that? What are you trying for? You've already settled. You're already done. What are you gaining from Tony Busby showing up with 10 of the girls in a suite?
What's amazing to me, Tommy, is this whole situation right here. I mean, this guy, I know if I was an NFL player personally, I mean, this dude would have a target on his back.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what, I'd even be one of those guys that would have, be paying people to get out there and rough him up, because I don't think he needs to be in this league.
John, you want to put a bounty
on
him?
That's it. I mean, and what is it showing to bring those girls, to the game? I mean,
I don't
for them to be there and to see this, I think disgusting human being on the field. And the guy's never had any remorse for any of this.
Oh, no, that's probably the worst part of it, that he's had no remorse. But you settled the lawsuit, go away. If you were that upset with him, you should never have settled and stepped out in front of a camera and said, here I am. But, you settled, you took the money, now go away. Obviously, it's over.
Right. It's amazing to me. And really, what is he going to look like when he comes out onto the field? I mean, he's got a target on his back everywhere, but he also hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah.
Speed of the game's different when you get out there.
Sure.
You're not practice doesn't mean everything. So he's, if you're looking for any defense to start in fantasy league, put him against Deshaun Watson after 2 years. I think that's going to be
the Texans,
given
Johnny.
right there.
I'm not sure about that.
Texas, yeah.
But let me ask you this question: if they were battling for the playoffs, if they were a team that's battling, and they're not. They're obviously, I think, let's see where they ranked at this point. They are 13th out of 16 teams. Essentially, no shot at making the playoffs. I mean, other than a tremendous run right here.
Right.
If they were, I don't know, let's say they were 7-4 instead of 4-7. Do they start him? Are they going to him right now? With the playoffs on the line, or is this all right? We're 4-7. We're done anyway. Let's get him in there and get him back in shape. What's your thought?
Yeah, I think so. If Tommy, if they were 7-4, I would have stayed with Jacoby Brissett.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So I really think, I mean, if you watch Cleveland, this entire season, I don't think Jacoby has actually played that badly.
No, but he's
Really
he's a solid quarterback, but he's not getting you to the promised land. He's just not that quarterback.
Right. He doesn't get him over the hump. He's kind of like what Baker Mayfield was a couple of years ago.
I mean, if you're a really, really good team and a good team, he can game manage for you. But if you're expecting him to put the team on his back, over the shoulder and carry them up the hill, he's not that guy.
Right. I agree. And with Watson, I mean, if you look at what Watson was in the past, I mean, the guy had the ability to make plays out of the pocket, scrambling ability, and that brings another facet, to that team. I mean, you have some guys that I think are underrated, and like Peoples-Jones, at receiver. Obviously, I mean, Njoku, if he could stay healthy, is another guy that I think is underrated because he's never on the field and you don't get to see enough of him. And Amari Cooper obviously has had a good season.
Yep,
making a lot of plays. You got one of the best running games in the league with Nick Chubb, and I think he's going to bring another facet there, and I think that's another thing that the defense is going to have to account for because you haven't seen him in 2 years. You don't know what to expect, but like I said, him coming in there after 2 years and being able to make the reads and with the speed and everything, I think it's going to be a challenge. But in the beginning, let's round back to what we started with. Is I think if they were 7-4, I would stay with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I agree. And Jeff, I'll ask you that question before we move on. If the Browns were 7-4 instead of 4-7, and the season basically over, do you think that they would insert Deshaun Watson at this point in the season? Or do you think it's an easy decision to make because they're basically out of the playoffs anyway?
Listen, I guess you got to see what you got in this guy. You invested so much in him, and I think it's going to be 700 days since he last played his last NFL game at the time schedule.
Yeah,
when he starts to play again. So that being said, you got to get this guy out on the field and see what he can do, because if not, what do? You sacrifice so much of your future for this guy that, if he doesn't play, I mean, I know that he's going to be bad, but you just got to see how he performs and what his form is. I mean, did he gain 30 pounds? And, does he have other things on his mind? Is he going to be able to play? How receptive is the crowd going to be to him?
He's in Texas, back in Texas playing, so he should be getting roundly booed. I tell you the truth, I probably would have started him not in this game on the road back in Texas. I would have probably waited till they were home in Cleveland. He'd probably have a better reception, but I think at this point they just want to get him on the field.
I guess it can't get any worse than the situation you're in. So, get on out there. Go ahead.
If you were going to pick the worst place he could possibly start his first game in 2 years after his suspension and basically forcing his way out, I would say you found it.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah, so we'll see, but we'll get to that game in a little bit. I want to speaking of quarterbacks, guys, I want to run through, we had a really big market last year, guys, quarterbacks changing teams. Baker Mayfield changed teams. There was tons of quarterbacks last year moved around. I think it's going to be worse this year. And I'm going to throw out a bunch of teams that I think are going to be changing quarterbacks or needing a quarterback. And I want you guys to comment on whether the existing quarterback is going to be back. So let's run through it real quick, and then we're going to get to our picks. So thanks, guys. Thanks for everybody for hanging in there. Let's run through this a little bit. So, guys, here's a quick list of the teams I think need a quarterback or will be making a change. The Tampa Bay Bucks, the Saints, possibly the Jets, possibly the Giants, Vegas, the Panthers, the Packers, the Broncos, Cardinals, Redskins, Colts, Rams, and Texans. Now, there's some questionables on this. So I'm going to go to each one of these teams. Guys, we're going to keep it brief because there's a lot to get to. So just give me your thoughts. Will the quarterback be back or will they be looking for somebody? So let's run through it quick. John, Tampa. Pretty much everybody's talking about Tom Brady, may retire, but there's also a lot of talk he may go other places other than Tampa. Is Tampa looking for a new quarterback next year?
I think Brady's back. I think Brady's going to play until he can't stand anymore.
Well,
that's just my feeling.
I got you, Jeff. Is just Tom back in Tampa next year, or somewhere else, or retired?
No, if he doesn't retire, I think he's going to play someplace else. Tom Brady, to me, is one of these guys that feels as though that, if he ain't going to win, then what's the point of being out there and playing? And I think that he'll force his way to a team that has a chance of winning. That's I don't think it's right, but then again, he's also 45 years old playing football, so he's going to want to make the best of it. So I either a different team or retired.
Yeah, I've heard ridiculous rumors of the Giants, the Jets. I've heard of tons of. I think the only team that makes sense other than Tampa is going to Frisco for 1 year. That's a team that could win a Super Bowl, and he's still playing well enough where I think that would make sense for 1 year. Go in there, win, try to win something, and then move off, and Trey Lance takes over if that's what they think. Guys, next is the Saints. I mean, they're running Andy Dalton out there every week. Jameis Winston. Time for a change, Jeff?
I would say so, man. It's time for that team to maybe be torn down and rebuilt. That defense doesn't seem to be what it once was. And, this team was a team that was competing last year. They're not competing this year. So they got more problems than just quarterback.
I agree. John, Saints, can they live with one of those two guys next year, or is it a new regime?
I think they need to go through the rebuild, just like Jeff said. You got a lot of young receivers, Chris Olave, bringing some of these guys up, and you need to break it down. I think I would never start either of those two guys.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to combine these two for both of you guys. Jets and Giants are their next year quarterback on their roster this year?
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. At one point you think that they are. Next point you say they're not. You know what I mean? It's a hard decision to make. The Jets, they want to hold on to Zach Wilson, but yet they're going to start Mike White. So if Mike White has a good game or two, does it start a quarterback controversy? And as far as the Giants go, we just got somebody from the homeland. Look at that!
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that! Yes, we got from Israel. We do have our fingers crossed for USA football. You say football? Yes, soccer team today. Go USA! And thank you for tuning into the Sunday Audible show.
Yeah, really, thank you.
Yeah, Jeff, finish your thought before we get to John.
Pretty cool.
As far as the Giants go, when they didn't sign Daniel Jones to that 5th-year deal, or a 5th-year option, whatever it is, it just put a bad taste in my mouth, and it makes me wonder, what the next step is there. Are you forcing this guy to play? Because we've seen it a couple of years ago with Leonard Williams with the Giants. They forced him to play. He had a big season, and then he hasn't had any sacks since, really. So, same thing with Daniel Jones. You're forcing him to play, and what happens once he signs? Then he's comfortable. Is he going to, so I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the Giants will change quarterbacks before the Jets will, if you ask me.
Okay, fair enough. John, give me your thoughts. Do either team have next year's quarterback on this year's roster?
It's really tough, just like Jeff said. But I think on the Giants side, I mean, we look at Daniel Jones and you see glimpses of this guy being a decent quarterback in this league, but his receiving core is pathetic. With the injuries and everything. I mean, I'd like to see Daniel Jones with a healthy receiving core and at least one go-to weapon, just to see what he would be like. But I don't. That's a tough one, Tommy. But I think he's going to be there. But I think he's just going to be hanging. They're going to bring somebody in to compete with him. The Jets, first-round pick Zach Wilson. You got him on the bench. For Mike White. I think those guys also bring in another guy to compete. With both of those two. I don't think they're going to leave, but I think they're there.
Of teams bringing in another guy, like we want to push the quarterback we have, so we're bringing in another guy. No, you're making a quarterback controversy, and now the guy that you have him making him a second guess every time that he touches the ball. So I don't like it. Either you get behind one guy. I don't like the idea of bringing in multiple guys or having multiple guys that can play the position just in order to push one. I just think it's detrimental to the one that you're trying to push. To a
certain degree, I think the Jets have a natural one. I think if Mike White goes out and has a decent end of the season, I think both of those guys are back, and it's a quarterback competition. I think Zach Wilson's on the roster next year. They're not going to give up on a second overall pick in the draft after 2 years. I think they're going to give him a shot next year to be the guy. I think they want him to be the guy. Can he be the guy? I don't know. I don't know if his teammates like him enough. As far as Daniel Jones goes, I think that's more who else you're going to get. I think they like the kid. I think he's done a decent job. I agree with John. I think he needs to have some weapons. I think the thing's going to be, okay, who do we replace him with? Who is good? Is it Teddy Bridgewater? No, it's not going to be Teddy Bridgewater. It's not going to be one of the retreads. You're not going to draft a guy where they're going to have a draft pick this year, which is going to be the low 20s. That's going to be there. And unless Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody of that ilk comes available, Daniel Jones gets a 3-year deal, 1 year guaranteed, $20 million. He takes it and tries to, build for the next contract. I think both teams have their quarterback on their roster for next year. Whether it's Mike White or Zach Wilson, I'm not sure yet. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's move on. Vegas, guys, that's a very disappointing team, John. I think Derek Carr might have run his course there. They may be looking for more help. And I think Josh McDaniel is going to be desperate to do something to turn that around next year because the fire will be up his ass next year.
I agree. I think Carr's gone. I think I could see him going to, even a team like the Jets. I mean, it's
there's
as crazy as it is.
Yeah.
Those guys are ready to win. And I think that's their mentality right now with going in there and finally getting this team back to some status here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to let that go. I don't think you want to put Wilson back in there, or what's their belief in White going to be? I'd like to see somebody in there that's proven, and be able to take that next step because those guys are there. I believe it.
Yep, I agree, Jeff. Derek Carr is he the quarterback next year in Vegas?
I don't think so, man. They haven't been behind him, 100% behind him for years.
Yeah.
I just think it's a matter of time before he goes, and I think that time is now. They stand to lose too much. They have to keep that team relevant in Las Vegas so that people will keep coming, to the games because they really don't have a home crowd. I feel that that's mostly outsiders that are coming to watch that game. How many people are actually in Las Vegas that going to go to a football game? You know what I mean?
Yep.
To consist of a home crowd for the team, but they haven't been behind him in a while, and I think it's just getting to the point now where you got rid of everybody else. It's time to go with get rid of Carr.
All right, I'm gonna skip the Panthers. I think we all know the Panthers absolutely positively need a quarterback next year. I'll be shocked if Sam Darnold is even in the league next year. He may be playing in the USFL or the XFL.
One of them's got to stay on the team for next year. Who's it that they keep on the team?
I think it's the kid who got hurt. What's his name? Carroll. I think there was the third string kid who actually got a chance to play. I think he's on the roster. Baker Mayfield somewhere else next year. Sam Darnold somewhere else next year. So I'm going to skip the Panthers.
Either one of them in the NFL?
Yes, Baker Mayfield will play in the NFL. Somebody will put him, whether it's, like I said, looking at teams out there looking for a quarterback. There will be a spot for Baker Mayfield because somebody will say, all right, he had a couple good years. He's still young. We could fix him. So, Sam Darnold, I'm not sure about. But Baker Mayfield, I would think, will be back. Guys, I'm going to give you 3 quarterbacks in a row. Tell me which of these. I think 2 of them are no doubt to come back because of the contract. One of them, it might also have to come back because it's his choice. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, the Broncos and Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray at the Cardinals. two of those guys with Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray have had former teammates blasting them, their distractions, but both guys have big contracts. And Jeff, Aaron Rodgers holds the key. He's getting like $50 million. It's his choice. I think the Packers are saying novenas every night, praying he retires. All three of these guys back next year. Can you see any scenario, Jeff, where any one of these three guys finds a way to get out, or finds a way to get away from them?
I think that Aaron Rodgers should have done the right thing a couple years ago when he held that team hostage to the bitter end before he let them know what was going on. That to me is not conducive of being on a team. A team is helping out all aspects of the team. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's got to go, man. He's got to go, and I think they're going to shut him down early to see what they have in Jordan Love.
Which I would tell you is nothing, but that's a different story. Yeah.
He has to understand that because you're helping the team in the long run. But no, I don't see him back there next year either. I really don't. Who were the other ones? I'm sorry.
Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, who basically have contracts that are guaranteed. And
Kyler Murray, yes. Russell Wilson, I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson. It doesn't seem as though that he's liked on the team.
Yeah.
He's having trouble playing. I don't know. What do you do with Russell Wilson? What do you do with him? You know what I mean? There's a lot of
you play him. Yeah. You're gonna have to play him. Yeah, he's got too big a contract, Jeff. You couldn't afford to bring another guy in and pay another quarterback, 15, 20 million when you're already paying this guy 40 million.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, John. I mean, is there a scenario, John? I think the only chance that the Green Bay Packers have is that Aaron Rodgers either retires, which I don't think he's walking away from another $50 million deal.
56 million point.
Yeah, something ridiculous,
crazy.
Or that he wants to he forces his way to a trade to another team. That's the only way I think. Otherwise, he comes back and hopes they cut him.
Sure.
If you look at these guys, I mean, this just. I thought about this actually a few weeks ago. Is what happens if Aaron Rodgers leaves and goes to somebody like Vegas, reunites with Devontae Adams? McDaniels has to have something to really build off of after this year. I mean, the team's been disappointing, right? And you look already. I mean, they got a strong running game. I mean, Josh Jacobs a beast this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He might be the he could be the AFC MVP. I mean, if it wasn't for any of the quarterbacks, I mean, which they always put there, at MVP. But a scenario like that, I could see happening. Russell Wilson, if there's a mess in this league, that's it right there. I mean, those guys are, extremely disappointing. The offense, it's almost like an offense that's kind of just starting out with a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way those guys are playing. I think Kyler Murray stays. I think I got too much invested in him. I think
he's too young to just turn around and give up on. That's what I think.
Yeah. And Kingsbury too. Yeah, I think is gone too. Tommy,
I agree. I think Cliff Kingsbury has run his welcome on that team at least. But guys, I'll make the prediction. I don't think that don't forget that Russell Wilson was hired or was signed by the previous ownership in Denver. I could see a scenario where this ownership, who's got that's the Walmart family, the Walton family, they would I think eat his contract. I think he's too many years, not enough play. I think they eat his contract and they cut him, and they start all fresh and new again. Because Jeff, you said it for years, they can't seem to pick the right quarterback since Peyton left.
No, and even before they got Peyton.
Yeah.
Since John Elway left, I don't understand it. With Elway at the helm, they couldn't find a replacement. Yeah. I just do not understand that. Like, how are you, Mike or Joe, whoever, Mike and Joe and Mike?
What's up, guys? Official sponsor of the Sunday Audible show. The guys from Hemp Wizard. We did a little something early on for them guys. But yeah, Jeff, you're 100% right. And like I said, I don't think Rodgers is back. I think he either gets out or they come up with a compromise to get him out. I think Broncos cut Wilson. I think he's a detriment in the locker room. His play is terrible, and I think they just eat it and they suffer for a year or two, and they deal with it. Kyler Murray, I think, is back. I think, like Jeff said, he's too young to give up on, but I just don't see him getting any better based. And again, you got a guy who is being ripped by his current teammates, former teammates. He's not well liked in the locker room. I think that's my last another year. He's throwing his coach under the bus. Yeah, I think that one's headed to a thing. John, the Redskins, is Taylor Heineke or Carson Wentz the quarterback next year, or are they bringing somebody new in?
I think Wentz is gone. I think Heineke, I think the next couple of weeks are going to really cement that.
Yeah.
But I think that he's the guy here. I mean, I think you need to let this guy have a full season with this team. They obviously play well with him. Mm-hmm. He's tough. And like I said, he's kind of like that street ball guy that goes out and just plays nonstop, makes plays. They like playing for him. I think he's definitely there.
I would agree with that. I think he deserves at least the opportunity to have a full season. Jeff, your thoughts? Taylor Heineke, Wentz, are they the quarterback in the Redskins next year?
Listen, you went out and you signed Carson Wentz. Why not give Tyler Heineke a shot? You know what I mean? Carson Wentz has been passed around like a baby at a christening from team to team to team. And, like you may have the answer on your team, but right now he's guiding this team to a 7-4, 7-5 record.
Yeah.
You have to give him a chance. When was the last time that the Redskins were over 500 at this point in time of the season?
Yeah.
They've been worse than the Giants and in the NFC East.
Yep.
For years. So yeah, I would think you gotta go with him at the very least, Heineke, and see what he can do for you for the whole season.
All right, two more quick ones, guys. The Colts. Obviously, I don't think Matt Ryan's back next year. I think this is a total overhaul of a team. Other than Jonathan Taylor, I'm not sure that anybody's back. Jeff, is Matt Ryan the quarterback next year in Indianapolis?
I'm not familiar with his contract and what he signed to, but if they could get away from him and they could get an adequate backup or replacement, I should say, I think that he's going to be gone.
I would agree. John?
I agree. I mean, it's not the same Matt Ryan that we knew in Atlanta in the early days. Yeah, he's made some horrible reads. If you watch the games, I mean, he looks like he's finished. I think they do a complete rebuild.
I agree. New coach, everything top to bottom. I'd be surprised. I like Jeff Saturday, and I don't think he's done a terrible job, but I don't think he has a chance to get that job next year. Last one, I think, is the most interesting one of all because the guy just won a Super Bowl last year, but he looks like the definitive, I sold my soul to win the Super Bowl, and now the devil took my soul. Because Matthew Stafford looks like anything other than a quarterback in the NFL and a Super Bowl winner. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He started out with a bad elbow. He's had concussions the last few weeks. Jeff, is Matthew Stafford the quarterback of the LA Rams next season?
Matthew Stafford came on last year with the Rams and was able to take them to the Super Bowl because I don't think people were ready for him. This year is a little bit different, and that whole entire team seems to have suffered. He's also getting to that age where you would normally start to look to get rid of him, but what are they going to do? They got rid of Jared Goff, who was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. You have Matthew Stafford. Oh, there's John. He just ducked out for a little bit. You got Matthew Stafford, who is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Mm-hmm. And you just don't know what's going on with these guys. Are they at the end of their rope? Are they having a bad season? What's the story? But do I think he's on the team next year? I think he has no choice but to be on the team next year because this is a team that don't have a first-round draft pick to 2024?
At least. I think maybe further than that.
So, they need to squeeze as much out of him as they can get because they're not going to have a way to get rid of somebody or get somebody else.
That's very true. John, Matthew Stafford, quarterback in the Rams next year, or are they looking?
I think he is, and the reason why I say that is that the amount of injuries that team has had this year it has been unbelievable. Offensive line, I mean, he's getting crushed back there, and then on defense, your best player, Aaron Donald, is now out probably for the season. I don't know why you would, bring him back and for any further. They can't run the ball. I mean, you got rid of Henderson. I thought he was their best running back.
Yeah.
They get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
And Akers comes back, who's a smaller back.
Yeah.
He's
missed
obviously
a good part of the season.
Right.
Makes
he's
those
changing pace.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp's out. It's so many injuries. I think Stafford's back, but I think next year is going to be the tale of Matt Stafford. Is he going to be able to get it back? Like Jeff said, they sold their soul for the Super Bowl last year.
Absolutely, 100%. That was you sold out to win the Super Bowl. They did it. They, good for them. But you're going to pay for the next 5 years. I think that team will suffer, the next 3 to 5 years for sure. So,
right.
Guys, Sunday Audible, John Mahefka, Jeff Towinski, Tom Florio here on a Saturday morning. We're going to wrap it up in a few minutes. We're going to run through the games, give you our picks. Of course, we'll come back next week. We got about 5 weeks of the regular season after this week. Then the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So lots to do. Still a lot of football that we played. Guys, we still got it. We still got a ton of football to play this year. And we'll take it right up to the week after the Super Bowl before we put this again. But don't forget to check out our guys at hempwizard.net and the Hemp Wizard Beer Care Company for all your holiday gift-giving needs. I just got my package in. I'll be putting another order in. And don't forget, the Sunday Audible scent will be out soon. I saw the label for it. I gotta pass that over to John. Jeff is a big fan. He's an endorser. I hope he doesn't wind up like the crypto guys. The crypto guys, all those crypto people who endorsed FTX, they're going after him, Jeff. I hope there's no big scandals with Hemp Wizard. Otherwise, they'll be coming after you for money.
Hey, listen, I bought a couple bottles, man. I'm good.
Jeff, I gotta honestly say Jeff's not a paid endorser, but he is a fan of the product, correct, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he bought some for himself, his Aunt Edna, everybody in the Towinski family is covered.
Yes, sir.
Holiday be good. So, again, guys, Sunday Audible, make sure you come on back. We have plenty to get to. Again, enjoy your holidays. Be safe, and feel free to send us gifts. We'll always take gifts from you guys. Mike, Joe, of course, we love you guys as the official sponsor of the Sunday Audible show.
Only sponsor we ever had that checks in weekly.
Yeah, it actually is a part of the show. So yes, I would agree, but that's okay.
It's cool to have them for sure.
Absolutely, 100%. So guys, let's run through the games. Bills beat the Pats. Yes, she does. She no longer has to dye the diet blonde anymore. Now she can actually just throw some Hemp Wizard product over the top of it, and it's smooth, and Jeff's not running from it. So it's pretty good. So the Bills beat the Pats, which really set things crazy for had the Pats won, the Jets lost. It's a whole different playoff picture, but the Pats lose. They've got to start turning it around, but let's get past that game. Guys, let's open up right now. The Redskins on the road, favored against my beloved Giants, 2.5 points. Both teams relatively healthy. The Giants getting back to some health. Looks like about 9 different players are back this week for the Giants. Still a couple guys out for both. Chase Young may play. I like the Giants. I think they're desperate for a win this week. This is a big. Get this one, and then you got to just split the next 2 for sure. I like the Giants at home. John, what do you do? What do you like here?
I think the Giants need to bring the house on this one.
Yeah,
it's a game they have to have at home, division rival. But the Skins, the Commanders, whatever you want to call them anymore, are coming to play, and we know that. I think this game's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a good old school AFC or NFC East battle.
Yep,
I'm going with the Giants too at home.
Okay, Jeff, what do you like this week? Giants underdog at home to the Redskins. Pretty comparable teams, Jeff. I think talent-wise, the Redskins have the momentum right now, but I think the Giants getting some troops back definitely going to help. Where are you going with this pick?
Man, it's a hard one, but I think that the Redskins are going to sweep for the next 6 or 7 seasons.
This is why he can't be taken seriously, folks. This is exactly why in the board meeting we're debating on removing him from the show.
Behind the Redskins, man.
He's behind the Redskins. All of a sudden, he's behind the Redskins. All right. I don't see where in their colors, but we'll move on with that pick. Guys, number 2 game. And again, both these games were thought about to be flexed out of the 1 o'clock. It's going to be a little tough. I want to watch both of these games. Now, the Jets on the road in Minnesota. They're underdogs by 3. On paper, you would think the Vikings are a much better team. I'm not sure here. The Jets are a much better defensive team. If they play like they did last week, I like the Jets to win this game, but I'm going to take the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to find a way to get this. They have the best player on the field, but I'm really excited for the matchup of Sauce Gardner and Justin Jefferson. Now, he won't be traveling with him, but I think you'll see a lot of matchup over that way. And DJ Reed's no joke either, John. So I'm taking Minnesota, but boy, this is going to be I think this is going to be a really good football game to watch tomorrow.
I think so too, and I think the Jets are getting their test now on defense. I think they're going to come through on this. You know what, guys? I picked Minnesota as my surprise team this year.
You're on the money,
but I'm going to step away. I'm going to say the Jets are going to take this one.
Nice.
I'm going to say it's going to be a game where they make a statement, definitely defensively, and hopefully not a lot of turnovers. I think Jefferson's going to be shut down in this. The thing that bothers me with Minnesota all the time is I'm not a firm believer in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, who is?
I just different quarterback. I think that's a great team. I think they're right there, but man, I think the Jets get it done this week.
Jeff, how did the Jets win this one?
Big.
Okay.
Big. I think Minnesota is going to start to fall apart, and we're going to see them for the team that they are. So I'm going Jets. Jets by 10.
Wow. Okay. We got. There's a bunch of really good football games this week. The next few are not them. All right. So we got a bunch of good football games. I mean, the first 2 games we talked about, there should be good football games. They're important football games. This is great. We're in December. We're gonna see good football. John, unfortunately, your Steelers and the Falcons is not going to be one of those games. But I'm going to take the Steelers to win this one on the road. I like the way Kenny Pickett's been playing. They're keeping it simple for him. I'm going to take the Steelers to sneak one out on the road. I think the Falcons are ready to crumble. John?
I agree, Tommy. I like the way Pickett's been playing too. I mean, he's like you said, keeping it simple. He's starting to develop some chemistry with the receiving corps too, and especially Pickens. Freiermuth, obviously, but the main thing that I see is these guys are running the football, and that opens up so many things for your offense and takes so much pressure off the quarterback too. Young guy, I think they go up there and win this one. I think it's going to be ugly. There's going to be a lot of field goals. I could see a couple big plays turning it, but I think Pittsburgh wins it.
Jeff, Falcons at home, underdogs to the Steelers by 1. What do you like?
It's a tough one because both teams have something to prove, but I think the Falcons have a little bit more at stake. We're trying to get the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Okay, good. Another game where I'm not sure anybody cares about it. It's an old school football game. Packers on the road playing the Bears. Packers are favored by 3.5. A little surprised because I think what's his name? I think Justin Fields is back this week. Not that I think he's a great quarterback, but he does bring a lot to their offense. I'm gonna go with the Packers in this one. I don't know why. I know Rodgers is gonna play with the bad hand. But I'm gonna take the Packers. I don't think the Bears have enough defense or offense. And I love the way Christian Watson's has been playing. So I'm taking the Packers, giving 3.5 on the road in Chi-Town. Jeff?
I don't know. They both have a lot to prove, but does anybody care? Like you said,
yeah.
I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, half the staff that's supplying the stadium is banging out right now as we speak. They're not going in, but I think I got to give it the nod to the Packers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. John, where are you going with this one?
I think I have to side with Green Bay too. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers even injured, you saw what Mike White did to that secondary in Chicago last week. If Rodgers doesn't get it done in this game and they lose that, I think, I think you're going to be, seeing what we're going to see next year in Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to stay or go?
Yeah, I think if they lose this one, Jordan Love starts the rest of the season. They're going to have to figure out whether he's the guy or not for next year. And I think they're going to tell Aaron Rodgers, bad thumb and all, you're on the pine, or we're injured reserving you. So we'll see. That's an interesting game for Rodgers' career and the future of that team. So a win, maybe he stays in business. If they lose, I can absolutely see them going to Love at some point. Another, this is a maybe who cares game. I don't know. Lions are still fighting for the playoffs. The Jags, I don't buy into the Jags. I think the Lions have a little momentum. I'm taking the Lions today -1 at home. I think this spread is not big enough. Jeff?
It's another one of these games. It's like, unless you're a fan of the team, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to pick that one, man. It really is. I don't know.
Got to pick one of them.
I have no interest in that game at all.
All right. I'll take you for John. Lions and the Jags. Lions and the Jags. Any interest? And what's your pick?
I think if you look at both teams, both of these teams are starting to make some progress. I think, you're seeing some good things out of both of them, as far as the way the quarterbacks are playing.
Mm-hmm.
They're scoring points and they're not giving up. I mean, like you saw last week, with Jacksonville taking the Ravens, which was, a big surprise to me.
Yeah.
But at home in Detroit, I think Detroit is just a little bit better team right now. So I'm going to take the Lions.
Detroit looked good on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've played bad the last few weeks. That it's not a bad team, but
it's just I think that people played down to the Jaguars. The Jaguars, to me, are just such a boring team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exciting. There's nothing about them that's exciting. That I just any game that they're involved in, I have no interest in watching or knowing anything about it. It's all stems from the Jaguars, man.
Yeah, well, they're a long way from being a really good team, and we'll see how it plays out in their career. But for this year, this is not a big game. This is not a great game. This next one's a really good football game. This is a possible Super Bowl matchup with the Eagles at home versus the Titans. The Titans playing good football. The Eagles, some people think are the best team in the NFC. I don't buy into that, but Eagles home, 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Eagles at home, but it would not surprise me if the Titans come in there and win this one. The one thing the Eagles don't do is stop the run, and the one thing that the Titans do really well is run the football. I have a hard time with them on the road winning this game, but anything's possible. John, where are you going with the Eagles and the Titans?
I agree with you, Tommy. I mean, the Eagles were exposed by the Commanders a couple of weeks ago in a running game.
Yep.
They ran all over them, and I think you bring in a guy like Derrick Henry to play this game. It's outside. It's going to be cold.
Yep.
That's what this guy's made for. I think it's going to be tight, and I really think that this is going to prove to me what type of quarterback and leader Jalen Hurts really is.
Interesting.
He's playing a team that from the AFC that likes to play smash mouth, likes to run the ball hard, good defense. I don't even know if I could do this, but I'm going to take the Titans in the upset.
Wow. Okay.
Going into Philly,
Nice.
getting the job done in a running game. I think these guys, have what it takes, and they need to win this game too.
Okay, Jeff. Titans and the Eagles on the Titans on the road. What do you like?
I'm going Eagles at home.
I'm with you on that one. Again, I don't know. The Ravens 9.5-point favorites at home to the Broncos. To me, this is a who cares game. I hate both of these teams, especially the Ravens and John Harbaugh. I don't see the Broncos putting up any points. The spread's too high, 9.5. So if I was picking the spread, I'm taking the Broncos because I don't think the Ravens put points on the board. But I'll pick the Ravens to win this game, Jeff.
I'm going to go with the Ravens too, man. I just don't think. I think the Broncos have had it.
Yeah,
Get done.
Yep. Put a fork in them, John.
Yeah, the Broncos have checked out. Ravens have to win this game. I mean, losing to Jacksonville last week. I think Lamar Jackson lights it up. He might rush for 200 yards in this game. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that. But again, another of the who cares games, except for who's quarterbacking. Browns on the road. They're 7-point favorites over Lovie Smith's Beard and the Texans. Lovie Smith should be buying from Hemp Wizard, by the way.
Right.
But in the meantime, I'll take the Browns to win this one. I thought about it this week. I'm taking the Texans. I think the Texans get up for the fact that that Deshaun Watson comes out there to come home. I'm thinking the Texans steal this one, and I think Deshaun Watson looks like a shell of himself in this one. So, Jeff, I'm taking the Texans to win this one.
I don't know if it was officially announced if he's starting.
I believe it was. If I'm not mistaken, he's starting this game. I didn't say anything that tell me differently.
I'm going with
I
the
think he
Browns
is.
way. I just think that they're going to be a better team than the Texans, so I'm going with the Browns.
Okay, John?
I think it's going to be ugly. And if this is a game the Texans, have to be up for, it's this one.
Yep.
I think I've seen some good things out of the Texans this year, but the record looks bad, obviously, but they've had some games where they actually look decent. And this is the one they're going to be up for. I'm going to take the Texans in the upset. I think it's going to be ugly, though. But
I agree. I'm with you on this one. I think this is an upset. Another game that's a strange one for me. Out for the Rams, Aaron Donald, Travis Howard, Terrell Lewis, Lance McCutcheon, and Matthew Stafford are all out for the Rams. They're at home, -7 to the Geno Smith-led Seahawks. I don't like the Seahawks in this game, but I don't think the Rams have enough players to win this one. I'm taking the Seahawks to win this, Jeff.
Yeah, I got to go with you on that one. I think the Seahawks need the game a lot more than the Rams. Rams probably wishing their season was over so they could go home and relax. And the Super Bowl seems such a long, long time ago, don't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Seahawks on this one.
John?
I'm going to go Seahawks as well. You look last week. I thought the Rams defense played very well against the Chiefs. I was really surprised. I mean, the Chiefs totally ineffective in the red zone, and we don't usually see that. But like Jeff said, the Seahawks need this game. I think they do it. Too many injuries in LA.
With the next couple games, getting Sunday Audible here, Saturday, December 3rd. Thanks for tuning in. We're giving you our picks for the week. Stick around. We're going to finish this up and move on to our weekends. But let's finish it up, guys. A few more games. These two next games may be two of the best games of the week. First one up is the 49ers at home, 4-point favorites over the Dolphins. Guys, this should be a really good football game. Two teams contrast, the pound, the ground and pound, and beat you up a little bit. Frisco team versus the kind of high-flying Miami Dolphins, kind of reminiscent of the old Marino days. He's got a couple of big-time receivers and a quarterback playing great. Some people think it's a system quarterback. Guys, I'm telling you now, I honestly think the Dolphins have a chance to win this game on the road. I think they need to win this game. I'm going out on a limb on this one. I'm taking my out on a limb pick. I'm taking the Dolphins on the road versus the 49ers, but I could easily see the opposite way. John?
I think this is definitely out of those two games. I know what the second one is, obviously, but the two best games are these two. But Miami going to Frisco, offense against defense.
Yep.
I think Miami gets it done in this game, guys. I think if Miami could get ahead, and get some points up, I don't know if Frisco can challenge that, but we'll see.
Deebo Samuel's probably out for the game. If not, he's hampered. I think this is, good pick, John. Jeff, you got a thought on the Dolphins and the 49ers?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Niners win because I'd like to see them knock the Dolphins out. But I think that the Niners are starting to come on a little bit, so I'm going with Niners over the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah, the Niners might be the best team in the NFC right now. So
I think so.
I would agree with that. But okay, and to me, the next best game of the week is Chiefs on the road versus the Bengals. A matchup of last year's AFC championship game. This is a tough one, but I think the Chiefs are playing too good, and the Bengals are a little up and down. I think no Joe Mixon, still no Chase. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. It should be a close one, but we could be seeing this in a few weeks again, guys. So I'm taking the Chiefs to win this one. Jeff, where you going?
Chiefs over the Bengals without a doubt. Bengals are too up and down for me. I can't see them winning against the Chiefs.
All right, fair enough, Johnny boy. What do you like?
I'm going with the Chiefs too, guys. I think last week I thought Mahomes had one of his worst games of the season.
Yeah.
Even though they won, he wasn't happy. Then you need to go up there and beat these guys. I mean, they knocked you out last year.
Yeah.
They got a lot to play for here. They reputation's at stake, and that means a lot here. So they go up into Cincinnati and take this one.
Okay, good enough. Again, guys, I don't know where this one goes. A division game. A little surprised the Raiders at home favored by 1 over the Chargers. Tells you a lot about the Chargers season. They're on the bubble for the playoffs. I think their coach is under the hot seat. Has not done a great job coaching this year. I'm going to take the Raiders. I don't have any feel for the Chargers. But I'm hoping a lighted up day for Justin Herbert. But I just don't think they're playing well enough. I think there's some issues on that team, especially in the receiving core. So John, I'm going Raiders in this one.
Yeah, I think if this is a game that gets the Raiders, at least feeling a little better about themselves,
Yep.
This is it. The Chargers, we talked about them early this year, guys. It was one of those teams that we thought was going to be, there as a surprise, and they're right hanging around where we saw them the last couple of years, mediocre.
Yep.
We don't know where they're going. I'd like to say the Chargers, but I think Vegas wins this one in an old AFL shootout.
There you go. Nice. Good touch on that one, Jeff. Raiders and the Chargers in Vegas.
I got to go with the Chargers, man. We got a stake in this one too, so I got to go Chargers.
There you go. A game, a big point spread in this one, which I can't argue with, but the Cowboys at home, 10.5-point favorites over the Matt Ryan-led Colts. I only give the Colts a chance if they run the ball. I don't know why they don't run the ball more, but I got to take the Cowboys to win this one. It's going to break my heart. I would be totally shocked unless the Cowboys are looking ahead to another game. The Cowboys should win this one running away. Jeff?
I got to go Cowboys, man. I think that the Colts are another team that's just waiting to go home. Can't wait to get there either. So I'm going to go Cowboys.
Okay. John, where you going?
I'm going to go Cowboys too. I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think Dallas and Frisco right now are the two strong teams in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think Philly's there, but I think these last couple of weeks are going to determine who's really the best. And that Cowboys defense has been ridiculously good, especially the last couple of weeks. So I'm gonna stick with Dallas.
Yep, I think it's a small one, guys. Last game of the week. Again, a who cares game, but this is a big game for the Bucs. They've got to get on a roll here. I mean, I don't know what's up with Mike Evans. Every time I look up, Mike Evans is 3 yards short of catching a football. The defense hasn't been great. It's been better, but it hasn't been great. I'm not knocking Tom Brady. I mean, the guy's 45. He still looks like a quarterback out there. Fournette's been hurt. I love the kid White. They just can't put it together. And maybe the Todd Bowles syndrome. He brought the black cloud from the Jets. I'm not sure. But I'm taking the Bucs to win this one. They have to win this. They need to put some space between them and the Falcons, because second place in that division, guys, does not get you a playoff berth. So, John, I know it's going to pain you, but who are you picking in this one?
I'm with you too, Tommy. I mean, I have Evans in a couple fantasy leagues, and this guy just, disappoints every week. I don't understand. He's too good a receiver to be playing like that. But I think the Bucs get it back together this week. They I don't even think the Saints are even going to be in this game. I think the Bucs are going to light it up early at home. Brady has a great game. And they win by double digits.
Couldn't agree more, Jeff.
Yeah, I got to go Buccaneers too, man. They got to stop fending off some of these other teams behind them. It's a sad division.
Yeah.
I think Buccaneers are going to start with Brady. Going to start playing some football the last couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, they need to get on a roll. I mean, whether they win the division under 500 or not, they need to get on a bit of a roll here. Get some chemistry going. But you guys, we talk about it all the time. And I think Buffalo suffer from this. Teams don't have staying power. 3-4 years. People start to catch up with what you're doing. Your talent level falls a little bit because you can't keep the same players because of the cap. And I think that's what's happening a little bit in Buffalo. And I think that's certainly happened in Tampa. And while they still have Godwin and they still have, Mike Evans, these guys have fallen off. And the offensive line's taking a beating. So, again, we talk about it all the time. Teams have a very short life expectancy, 4 years, 5 years tops. And, after 3, you're starting to take it because, again, you can't keep all your great players because second contracts cost a lot of money. So, interesting week. There's a lot of good football games, guys. And, there's some big things that are happening. But we got some good football to watch tomorrow. So, we'll bring the show to a close. I'll give you guys final thoughts. John, any thoughts on this week's games or on the NFL in general? You got anything you want to add before we close it up?
I think we look at those last 2 games, Tommy. I mean, Cincy and KC and Miami and Frisco. I think that's those are playoff games right there. So I think the team that comes to play there, I'm looking for a lot out of all those teams. where does Frisco's defense stand against this challenge right here? I mean, the two that's the best receiving core in the league right now, I think, in Waddle and Hill, and it's going to be a big time challenge for those guys. So in KC, like I said, KC looked a little flat last week against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to go up and play the Kansas City football that we know, and God help us, if Deshaun Watson goes up there in the Texans against the Texans and does anything. So go Texans. I mean, bring everything. Bring the Rangers in and everything that you need to stop this guy. It's a bad situation, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I hope he fails miserably. Jeff, any thoughts for tomorrow or the NFL in general?
Go Jets, man. That's all I'm worried about right now at this point in time. One game, and then let's get the quarterback situation straightened out.
No, I think we'll see a lot. A lot's going to depend on tomorrow. I think if they lose and Mike White, here's the worst case scenario, Jeff. The Jets lose and Mike White is atrocious. Then it's going to be, what do we do for the Buffalo game? If he comes out he's okay. If he's 22 of 35 for 220, they lose, but he puts a couple touchdowns and a pick. He's the quarterback in Buffalo. But if he comes out of there with one of those, 15 to 35 for 103 yards, 2 picks and no touchdowns, start the controversy Monday morning on the sports radio in New York.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to wait that long. I think by if it's a 1 o'clock game, by 4:30 it'll start.
Yeah, you are not kidding, sir. So but listen, we got interesting football for both New York teams. A lot of good games on tap for tomorrow, boys. So get your holiday shopping in today. Get a little bit of snacks. Get ready, and let's get ready for some football. So, John, let me ask you a quick question. Your team's kind of in and out of it right now, probably out of it more than anything. Are you watching their game primarily, or are you kind of just keeping an eye on that, but you're watching something else?
Tommy, it's crazy, but I just throw on Red Zone.
Okay.
I watch all the games. I got my the Steeler games on my phone.
Right.
I'll roll with that one. Got Red Zone on. I like to make sure that I see everything that's going on. There's a lot of good games. Obviously I'm going to pull for the Steelers. I mean, right. I watch them religiously. But it's 2 screens going the whole time, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, luckily by me, I mean tomorrow I'll get the Jets and the Giants at 1, but I also get the Pennsylvania channels on my TV. So I usually get 4 games at 1 o'clock, 3 to 4 games at 1 o'clock, and then I get 2 or 3 games, 2 games at the 4 o'clock window because I get both sides. So I'll get the Eagles tomorrow. I might get the Steelers tomorrow, as well as the Jets and the Giants. So to me, I don't need Red Zone yet, but for now, I got plenty of football tomorrow. I know Jeff's going to be keyed in on the Jets. That's a big one for him. But I'll be flipping channels. I'll be watching Jets and Giants. 2 good football games. I'll probably DVR the Giant game because I'll be flipping and watch the whole Giant game later on at night. But guys, great show. You guys brought it all. Even Jeff with his ridiculous Giant comments on early on. We'll let that slide. We'll bring him back for another week. We'll renew his contract for next week. Even though I think he might have dementia or some sort of crippling brain disease. He's had that for 40 years.
You want to hold on to something that ain't going to happen. It's not my fault.
So,
for you, man.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. I want to thank the guys over at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company. Again, your one-stop shopping for all your beard, skincare needs. I picked up some hand lotion, the strawberry switchblade. My wife loves it. She raves about it. So it's not just beard care. You got some skincare lotion. I know Jeff's wife, she's using the hand lotion as well, and she's raving about it.
She of course, does not use the beard care.
She does not need the beard care. She's not Aunt Edna's niece.
No,
that's the other side. That's the other side of the family. So thank God. So good for her. But in the meantime, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back next Saturday. We'll do it all over again. And of course, enjoy your day. Some good college football games today. Enjoy some great football tomorrow in the NFL. We got a long way to go. So make sure you come back when we do this again next week. And, of course, support all of our sponsors, which is just hempwizard.net. So, and be on the lookout for our signature scent coming out real soon. In the meantime, for Jeff Tomlinski, John Marhefka, myself, and everybody here at the Sunday Audible, I say thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend, a great week, and enjoy the games. Guys, love doing this with you. Thanks for it all, and I'll talk to you both off the air.
Later, man.
Later, guys.
Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Later.